mad at me. We are not proposing taking the name out. What we found was the legislature, if we just said Sadowski, their eyes glazed over, we'd talk, we'd run our mouth, and they'd pat us on the head and say, yeah, we're going to vote with you. And then they'd go on the floor and they'd vote against it. So that's why we said affordable housing. We started phrasing it the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and it is the Sadowski Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and it always will be, because indeed, he's a hero, because he did a lot of good things. So we're not advocating to do away with that. So, but what I need people to do is to get in, what somebody, whoever said, check the vote. Because the House is the one that broke this year and went against it. So 200 million was stripped, and a watchdog group issued guidance and said that $160 million they deemed what was appropriated by the legislature was wasteful spending and unnecessary and just boondoggle foolishness. So from my view, you took that money and you threw it out just to go play or do whatever you're going to do. And that's your elected officials. The trust fund is a trust fund. You shouldn't be able to use it at your will and as your whim. And we're not the only trust fund that gets swept. All the trust funds get swept. But they need to stop and put that money back and give it to people that need it. And then we need help at the commission level, at the county level, to support and be more comfortable with a little higher density in some instances, with creative approaches, whether that's habitat housing, whether it's all the different vehicles that are out there. And then yes, the builders need to be incentivized a little bit to help do it. No, I don't think the county government should have to reimburse the developer for that. That should be part of the cost of getting the permit. Because if you get a permit for 15, 20, 30 $500,000 homes, where the margins are the highest, which is that's why they're buying or building, you should be asked to build me 5 $200,000 homes that we can put people in that are less fortunate than the people buying the $500,000 homes. And then remember, housing is the #1 wealth building mechanism this world's ever seen, because it builds up families and it builds wealth. So that's really the crux of it, is we need everybody in the community to get involved and circle around us and help get this done.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Penny, closing remarks?
I just want to remind everybody reiterate something I already said, and that is that we do talk about a lot of different social outcomes: better education, better health, reduced crime rates, and things of that nature, those social impacts. And I'll say it again, that if people don't have decent, affordable, stable housing, those social impacts are not going to improve. So it's really important. It really does affect all of us, and it may affect us all differently, but it definitely affects all of us, whether we actually are aware of it or not. And so housing does matter. And with 1 in 6 families in the United States paying more than 50% of their income on housing, that is definitely a crisis, and it's one that's getting worse.
All right, thank you, Penny. Cynthia, closing remarks?
Closing remarks. I ditto what both of the panelists have said, and paying 50%, that's in rental. It's cheaper to own than it is to rent. If you can pay a rent, you can afford a mortgage and have a couple of nickels still left over. So we need to get the word out. And please take a flyer with you. If you know someone that can use our assistance, give us a call. We also need volunteers. We're always very appreciative of volunteers. Get to know the nonprofits in your area and what we are really working for. It's not just housing nonprofits, but all the nonprofits that are working to just improve communities. So all I can say to you now is support your local nonprofits, find them, find out about, they're getting ready now. I know the city of Sanford is, and I believe the county is, to do their consolidated plan because it ends in 2020. So the new one should start next year. because this one ends in 2020. Let your voice be known, because this goes up to HUD, and this is how HUD determines where they're going to send their money and how much they're going to have the money to send. So, community input, show up, go to the meetings, and support your local nonprofits.
Thank you all so much. I'd like to thank Chuck for doing the mental heavy lifting of moderating. I'm very impressed with everything that was brought to us by this panel. I felt like they represented a spectrum of the issues. If anybody has any petitions that they've signed that they want to turn in,
Or want to sign
now. And just by the way, our last hot topics was about home rule, and people really need to pay attention to that. Our next hot topics will be in August, and it's going to be about recycling. I don't know about you, but half the time I'm not sure if what I'm putting in my recycling bin is really going to be recycled or not. So that's our next hot topics. Today we experimented with biodegradable cups, so we're transitioning. I have this idea that we do a BYOB, which is bring your own bottle, reusable, with water. Anyway, thank you so much again for our panel. Thank you for coming out on a rainy night, and we hope to see you again. Thank